Good morning and welcome to Unity of Merced, Sunday Inspiration. I am Reverend Twyla Reece and I have with me this morning John Albano. Give him a wave, John. Say hi.
Hi there. Good morning.
I am coming to you from the sanctuary of Unity of Merced. We meet at 305 West 26th Street in Merced, California at 10:30 on Sunday mornings when we're not in shelter in place. So we hope to be back in our facility within the coming weeks. But in the meantime, I am here coming to you with John. John is a wonderful classical guitarist and is very well known in around Merced and so many places elsewhere. John, you played for a long time in LA, right?
Yes, played there in the 90s and then coming into 2000 and played all over Southern California. That was
Yeah.
wonderful. hmm
So if you have not experienced John and his guitar, sit back and enjoy. But right now, we will open with a prayer and with Unity's daily word. So settle into your heart. As we give thanks for this day, as we give thanks for this journey that we're on, and for the life and the love that flows through us, may we know together that each person is blessed, that each person, no matter what it may look like in their lives right now, some incredibly joyful, some are dealing with sadness. But in this moment, in this truth, each and every person is in their right and perfect place, in their right and perfect divine time. We affirm that for people, and may all people know peace, and may all people know love. And from today's daily word, the word is release. I release all that does not contribute to my highest good. John's gospel tells of Jesus' restoring life to his friend Lazarus, who has been dead 4 days. As Jesus cries, "Lazarus, come out," his friend emerges from the tomb, burial cloths still covering his face and wrapped around his hands. Jesus says to those who have gathered, "Unbind him and let him go." Even after a spiritual resurrection, I may remain bound like Lazarus by thoughts, ideas, feelings, or habits that keep me from the full experience of freedom. Through my divine power of elimination, I release negative feelings, dissolve error thoughts, and free myself from habits and actions that do not serve my highest good. I am no longer bound, I am free. And from John 11:44, and Lazarus came out, his hands and feet bound with strips of cloth, and his face wrapped in a cloth. Jesus said to them, "Unbind him and let him go." Release. And that will take us into our message for today, which is courage. And John, take it away.
Okay. I see trees of green and red roses too. I watch them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies so blue days and the dark sacred nights, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies crying, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Whoa, whoa. The colors of the rainbow are so pretty in the sky, also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies crying, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Hey, hey, whoa, whoa.
Thank you, John. What a wonderful world. And I say to myself, what a wonderful world. And I say to you, what a wonderful world. So that brings us to courage. K.P. Hartman says, courage is the quality that lets us walk in our grief and anger, our love and joy, our faith and sorrow, all that we are. It is the quality that guides us to embrace courage. And Maya Angelou says, courage is the most important of all the virtues because without courage, you can't practice any other virtue consistently. I had never really thought about courage from this standpoint, that without courage, we can't practice all of the other virtues consistently. It takes courage to love unconditionally sometimes, doesn't it? It takes courage to walk through the storms of life. It takes courage to remember to breathe and stay mindful and stay resilient. We get so lost in our lackadaisical behavior. We get so lost in our lethargy. We can get so lost in fear and sorrow. We can get lost in anger. Now, I don't know about you, but over this last month, there have been days, even moments, when I have found myself just cycling through all the stages of grief just in rapid succession. Someone said that all of us are experiencing grief right now, even if we have not had COVID-19 or other experiences touch us. That we, as a humanity, are experiencing a collective grief, and that we will all need to process and go through the sorrow, the anger, the angst. We of ourselves are in these individual bodies, in these bodies of personality. In Unity, we talk about individuality being the Christ mind, the Christed being, the I am of us that never changes. And the personality part of us is the part that moves and grows and shifts and changes. We can adjust our personalities, but we as an individual, we stand solid in that I am presence. So each and every person on the planet, whether they know it or not, experiences life in this way. And we are all interconnected. We all breathe the same air, whether it's on this side of the world or the other side of the world. It's one life. It's one vibration. It's God life. And we are so connected that we do pick up on each other's feelings. Now, I know that you all know that. But do you stop and remember that? When you're going through some kind of experience, some kind of feeling, do you stop and say, wait a minute, is this mine? Or is it someone else's? Am I picking up on the energy of the world? And that's why it's so important for us to take time apart each and every day, at least once a day, if not several times a day, to become still, to become quiet, to breathe from our heart and reconnect to that God source within us. It can take courage to find the willingness to get up from whatever is keeping us stuck and do the work of a courageous spiritual being. When you look at The Wizard of Oz, we have the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Lion. The Scarecrow asked for a brain, which was a very wise thing to do. And the Tin Man asked the wizard for a heart. He felt that he was an empty shell, and he wanted a heart. But the lion asked for courage. And which Reverend Sally Robbins says in this month's Science Mind magazine, that was the most courageous of the requests. Now the wizard goes on and tells them the Scarecrow always had a brain because he had been figuring out how to get through this maze of struggle that they were going through on their journey to Oz. And that the Tin Man already had a heart because he so lovingly wanted to take care of each and every person on the journey. And that the lion already had courage because he showed up. Even though he was so afraid, he continued to show up and do what was his to do in each and every moment. A beautiful story. Wisdom, love, courage. Now, of course, we often say that love is the underpinning of all things, and it is. But love with wisdom, love with courage, courage with love, courage with wisdom. I invite you this day to be courageous. What is on your heart? What in any way at all is getting you stuck, is keeping you from moving forward? Right now, many of us are probably getting cabin fever, and we see it around our country, we see it around the world. People want to get back to their lives, and yet we still need to be vigilant. We still need to be mindful, not only for our own well-being, but for the well-being of anyone and everyone around us. While we work to get this, so many words, so many thoughts that I could put in here, but I'll just call it this situation, this pandemic. Even that word brings up in me a sense of needing to be courageous. But we need to take a breath. I don't often talk about things we need to do because in my mind, we don't need anything. We already live in a rich and abundant universe. What is ours to do is to open up our mind, our hearts, to open up our consciousness, to see the beauty and the opulence that is all around us, to move out of fear and into courage so that we can let that goodness come in and expand and be more. And when we forget to do that, we want to get outside. We want to get back to our lives. We want to open up the economy. And yet, at the same time, I feel, I myself want to do it in a way that is the safest for every single person on planet Earth. Courage. It takes courage to be strong, to go deeply into your heart and listen for what is yours to do. I'm not here to tell you what you need to do. I'm telling you here of my experience, and hopefully it may inspire someone. But there are moments when it can be difficult, right? There are moments that we see people around us that are really having difficult times and are going through life experiences, and my heart cries out for them. And at the same time, I hold to their good. I hold to knowing that they are divine beings, one with the presence of God within them and around them. Be of good courage, from Deuteronomy. Be of good courage. Be of good courage, and God shows up for us because God is always there. But as we be of good courage, we open up our heart, our mind, to be in alignment with that God power. Imagine if every single person on planet Earth was able to get out of our own stories, to get out of our egos, to get out of our fear, angst, anger, ridiculousness, whatever. What if we were able to set all of that aside and come from a place of pure love? Not with any agenda, but just pure love. And allow that courage that is already within us to grow and blossom and to become more and become more and become more. Reverend Sally Robbins in this month's Science of Mind magazine tells the story of Colonel Glenn Fraser. And Ken Burns, in his documentary, The War, talks about the Bataan Death March. And Colonel Fraser was one of those people, along with 78,000 American and Filipino military men. Colonel Fraser went through a physical hell, and he survived that through many years. After being held in the Philippines, he was then sent to the camps in Japan, where just so many unspeakable things happened to him and to the other people. But Colonel Fraser was able to come home. And Reverend Robbins says, excuse me, I met Colonel Fraser in 2008. After hearing his story, I asked him how he was able to move on after his experience. He told me, for 30 years I hated, and what I discovered was that I needed to forgive. I am grateful that I survived and that I can tell the story that hating is not worth the effort. I remember Colonel Fraser's words, when I find it hard to forgive those who have wronged me, when I find it hard to be courageous. It takes courage to do the inner work and practice compassion to all people. We look at the people who have experienced such things as Colonel Fraser, who have come through it to the other side, and we see their courage. We see their strength. I ask you today to take time to reflect, to breathe deeply, and ask yourself, where could you be more courageous? Where are you willing to let go and let the love, the divine love in life, in the world, in the universe, to expand and grow within you? Now, I'm not going to read the whole lyrics here, but I want to share with you just a little bit of the band Kansas and their lyrics of Hold On. This is what Spirit wakes me up with music in my head. And I've been working on this message of courage all week, and this was the message this morning. Look in the mirror and tell me just what you see. What have the years of your life taught you to be? Innocence dying in so many ways. Things that you dream of are lost in the haze. Hold on, baby, hold on, because it's closer than you think and you're standing on the brink. Hold on, baby, hold on, because there's something on the way. Your tomorrow's not the same as today. Hold on, baby, hold on. These are strange times we're living in. Hold on, baby, hold on, and be of good courage and allow God's love to work in you, through you, as you. John. Somewhere over the rainbow. Somewhere over the rainbow. Right here over the rainbow. Not somewhere out there. Somewhere in here. Go find your rainbow and be of good courage. And in closing, I share with you our unity prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds you. The love of God enfolds you. The power of God protects you, and the presence of God watches over you. Wherever you are, God is, and all is love. Be well.